Warning: the following video presentation contains scenes of extreme deliciousness. Failure to either eat first or bring a snack to consume during the presentation could result in wanting to lick the screen or in some way act the fool. Ain't nobody want that. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, boys and ghouls. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK.
What's happening, everybody? It's been a minute. How'd you like that opening? Been putting in a little bit of work, and I'm pleased with the results. And yeah, I even stuck the there was the running joke that there needs to be like a warning before the stream about eating first, and so it was kind of a last second addition when I was doing it, but it's in there now. Yes, Lumpy, you just missed it, but don't worry. I plan on playing the intro multiple times during the stream today, so never fear. You'll see it again. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Avocado Korean KitchenAid. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how it turned out, and yeah, but thankfully I can easily run it again. Plus I have these nifty new scene transitions, or actually they're called stingers, which if we switch to that view, it was a joke yesterday, I think on Discord, about making a old Batman TV show style scene transition with the spinning background and the logo that pops up. And so I thought, hey, let's do it with the dumpster fire emote, because that was pretty funny. And so I thought that's what I would do. I did make a couple of other ones, one with a cartoon taco, which I'm not entirely certain if this will let me do it on the fly, but let's see. There it is. So it'll let me do the talk. Okay, cool. It will let me change it. And then the other one that I did, because in homage to the original jingle, whoop. There it is. Oh, that was weird. But we have cake too. So we've got some new stingers. We've got this. We're good to go. I'm going to actually get right to work real quick, and we'll talk a little bit as we go. Guests are coming over. More than what we're invited are coming over. Instead of doing a chicken pot pie, I've decided to make chicken pot minus the pie and then biscuits on the side. And the biscuits are going to take some time, so I'm like ready to go with the biscuits because the dough needs at least 30 minutes to chill before baking. So I've got a couple of time points for me. They absolutely have to go in the oven by 5:45, so we have some time, but I want to try and get them into the fridge as quick as possible, so then that way they have as long as possible to hang out. So that being the case, okay. So I've got my stuff all ready to go, and the recipe, just for reference, that I'm using It's the ultimate flaky buttermilk biscuit recipe from America's Test Kitchen. When I made biscuits like a week or so ago, no, not cannabis chicken. But when I made biscuits a week ago, this is the recipe that I used. I'm going to be making a double batch because, like I said, there's more people coming over than were initially invited. So, at least on the recipe, they have it done by volume, which is really kind of surprising. I converted it to weights. So I'm going to get going on this. We need 720 grams of all-purpose flour. I just refilled this because, well, it had run out. $30. 691. Oh, too much. Okay. I got to keep the flour out because I'm going to end up having to basically create a snowstorm everywhere. Hey, Maria, welcome, welcome. How you doing today? All right. Now let's go ahead and measure out everything else. And I'm just measuring them out into an intermediary container so then that way I can take out if I put too much in. So let's see. I also scoured the counter earlier so I can roll out the dough on it. Sugar, 50 grams. And come on, 50. There we go. And put the sugar away because I no longer need that. Let's see, baking powder. I need 16 grams. Since these rely on buttermilk and baking powder as well as baking soda for the leavening. So you have the acid and then you've got the powders that are activated by the acid. Let's see. This is the ocean salt. So 15 grams of that. Yep. And then we need baking soda, which this is just 6 grams. How's the music level? Yeah. Look at all that coke. Exactly. How's the music level versus, like, how are my voice levels? I tried to test it out earlier, and it seemed like it was okay, but I wasn't 100% certain, so I figured I'd ask. Okay. So we're almost at 2 critical junctures. So first thing we got to do is mix up all this dry stuff. Just try to get it aerated and mixed up so then that way we don't have pockets of stuff. We want to make sure there's sugar in everything, that there's salt in everything, that the leaveners are all mixed in throughout. Because we're going to effectively be treating this kind of like a laminated dough or a Oh, snap! You can't hear any... Okay, is the music super low, Nick? Thought I... Oh, wait. It's because I had it on mute. Hopefully the music's coming through now. Yeah. Okay, so we need buttermilk now. And, nope, not that. Nope, not that. And eat that. We'll need... Okay. However, first... This is where stuff is going to get a little bit crazy. There it is, music's at a good level. Okay, excellent. When the leavener breaks, we have no bread. Oh, the Punisher is here. What is going on, Scott Connor? So, I've had this butter in the freezer for, I don't know, a while. It's nice and hard. And I've also had my giant grater in the freezer. So then that way, butter doesn't smear. Because for the biscuits, we want the butter to... remain pretty solid, and that way, because what's happening is we're going to be mixing the dough till it just comes together, and then we're going to be doing book folds, meaning that we're going to put the dough on the counter, kind of roll it out a little bit, fold it into thirds, roll it again, turn it, roll it into thirds, do it again. We're going to do that a total of 5 times, so then that way we're effectively creating a whole bunch of layers, which is what we want. Trying to make sure I don't
next
break
step
my
is to
hand
fold
off.
in the cheese.
Thankfully, because everything
What does fold in the cheese mean? You fold it in.
Braiding really nicely, and we're not smearing. Now, what's funny is in the recipe they tell you to leave like the last tablespoon of each stick, because then you're gonna go back and melt it in order to brush the top of the biscuits with it, so they get all nice and brown. Thankfully, these will bake in about 25 minutes. And I've already got my oven preheated, so that'll be ready to go. And since there's more people here than there were previously, this is better than porn and twice as educational. Yeah, I'll have to post the recipe. It's pretty easy, thankfully. I mean, well, I say it's pretty easy, but this is also coming from me. It may not be easy for everybody. Okay, I think that's it. So, since you just got here, Nick, and for the folks that hadn't seen it yet, I'm going to rerun the brand new intro, and then when we come back, I'll still be grating butter. Oh yeah, enjoy the new stinger too. Warning. The following video presentation contains scenes of extreme deliciousness. Failure to either eat first or bring a snack to consume during the presentation could result in wanting to lick the screen or in some way act the fool. Ain't nobody want that. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, boys and ghouls. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK.
And we're back. I see a question from Avocado Cream KitchenAid about why I rolled the sticks of butter in the flour mix first. That's what the recipe recommends, and I believe the reason why they have you do that is so then that way as you're trying to grate the butter, that it has a little bit more of a texture, so it doesn't totally slip out of your hands. So now that we've got all of that butter all up in here, now we're actually going to mix it with the flour mix and get all that butter coated. So then that way, when we go to roll this sucker out, all that butter is going to roll out in really nice thin little layers and help create biscuits that have a whole bunch of layers, which is kind of what we want. Yeah, okonomiyaki overboard. I honestly made that conscious decision to put it at the end, Lumpy, because even though I know chat felt really bad about it, I was laughing. I thought it was pretty funny, and especially since I cut my Coke with grated butter. Yeah, exactly. Okay, we need 2.5 cups, aka 20 ounces of buttermilk. Boom. All right. Okay. So now we're gonna add this buttermilk to it. I'm not gonna stick my hands in it, but that's why I have this spatula. So then that way I can just kind of mix it together until it just comes together. Because we don't want to overwork it. Because if you work it too much, then you get chewy biscuits, and ain't nobody want that. Okay. And this dough is going to look dry. It's going to look shaggy, but that's okay. By the time I'm done rolling it out, it'll look a lot more cohesive. Off to the side here, I've got my baking sheet with parchment paper on it ready to go. The plan of action is after I get this all rolled out, I'm gonna put it onto that sheet tray, and then it's gonna go into the fridge out in the garage until we're ready to cut them. The biscuits, instead of doing kind of the round biscuits, I'm just going to be literally trimming off the outer edges of the dough. And there's a good reason for it. The outer edges is kind of like, what happens is, if you think about it, it's like you're folding paper over and over and over and over again. And those edges are where folds are. And if you bake those edges, they won't rise like a cut edge will. Because the cut edge, all the layers are separate, whereas at the edge, all the layers are bound together, if that makes sense. So let me get this in the sink. Get rid of that. Now, okay. Now we're going to get a little messy. Lots of biscuit. I don't want to add too much flour because then it just doesn't turn out right. Because if there's too much flour in between the layers, what ends up happening is, yeah, you get this separation, but you need at least some adhesion. That makes sense, in between the layers. Okay. Alright, let's get the milk in. Need some flour. Yep. I'm just trying to roll it out, but keep it together. Ideally, I'm trying to put this into a rectangular form, but I am also the first to admit that when it comes to rolling things out, I am pretty derpy. But if you can, I don't know if it's really showing up, but you can kind of see how there's like these little patches of dough where it looks like individual clumps. That's actually good. That's what we want, because all those individual little patches will end up becoming all those layers that we want. Alright, I think we are ready to fold. Okay, so this is going to be the first of 5 folds. Flour in there. Go. Turn this sucker 90 degrees towards me. And we roll again. That's time number 1. And it's okay that it's looking a little shaggy right now. Trying to get it kind of an even thickness. Like I said, I'm a little derpy when it comes to rolling stuff. It's very derpy. That's okay, it'll come in. How's everybody been doing? Boogie in your butter. Can't say I'm 100% over whatever it was that I had. But at least my nose isn't like a faucet, because, oh man, I hate running noses, because it was just post-nasal drip, and then it was making me feel nauseous, but thankfully that has subsided. However, still got, not entirely certain what else is going on. Alright, I think we are ready for fold number 2. A little bit more because it's still a bit tacky. Okay. Yeah, that's probably a bit more. We're aiming for 5 times. So far, so then after this, we can start working on the chicken pot portion of it. We can start working on Caesar salad stuff and broccoli. Thankfully the broccoli, I mean, I'm not doing anything terribly crazy to it. Just getting it seasoned up with a little bit of probably grapeseed oil and roasting it. And as long as it's in the oven by about 625, I think is what I would. We should be good to go. Okay. Next. Tacky. That was what, number 4, I think? wanted to flip it over because this side ended up being a lot tackier than I expected it. And if all I'm doing is working that top side, and this side isn't yet really dusted very much. Alright. Way better. Okay. It's feeling pretty good. Let's clean these off. Don't let the Brutus near the kitchen knives. Yeah. A2 Brutus. Well, thankfully it's not March, so I think I'm okay. Alright, last fold and turn. Little tack. Okay. Way more even what's right here. Excellent. All right. Let's see. And onto the tray. Woo! Excellent. That is what I like to see. So now I need to get this sucker covered. It's like the biggest roll of plastic wrap ever, but I think we purchased this roll of plastic wrap like, I don't know, 6 years ago or something like that. And it's one of those things that I don't use it super often, but when I do use it, it is incredibly helpful. Pull that. And I don't think I got a big enough piece. That's alright, I suppose. I could also just go sideways. Okay. All right. This is now ready to go hang out in the fridge. In the meantime, that's weird. Why did it do that? Warning. The following video presentation contains scenes of extreme deliciousness. Failure to either eat first or bring a snack to consume during the presentation could result in wanting to lick the screen or in some way act the fool. Ain't nobody want that. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, boys and ghouls. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK.
And we're back. Just out of curiosity, could you all hear me like banging around and stuff while that was playing? The mic, even though it's on, it shouldn't have been transmitting sound. It should have only been the sounds of the intro. I'm just kind of curious. Okay, now, just faint sounds. Okay, yeah, it's probably just the sounds of the video would be my guess. Okay, so now on to the chicken pot part of everything. I need to break down some thighs. I actually have a couple of leftover boneless. Jane, dude, come on, move. Thank you. I've got some leftover boneless skinless here, boneless skinless thighs from something else. So I'm going to use these in addition to some bone-in skin-on ones. The plan is I'm just going to kind of cut these up in bite-sized pieces and get them going in my pot that's over on the stove. I'm trimming the fat, or at least as much of it as I can, reasonably do, since the fat is what I'm going to use to saute up, like the chicken and some of the cut up vegetables that I'm going to be adding to the chicken pot tonight. So that way, extra chickeny. That one's still got quite a bit of external fat on it. So, at this point, let's see, what time are we at? 4:45. Okay, cool. So, nice. The biscuits will have a good amount of time before they need to go into the oven. We got plenty of time in order to take care of this stuff. So, yeah, right now, really the big task is going to be getting kind of this chicken prep done and out of the way, so then we can move on to all the vegetation, including stuff for the Caesar salad. We're going to be doing croutons with that, and I've actually already cubed up and kind of dried out the bread for that. I didn't dry it out too much because it's kind of a pet peeve of mine, but I'm not a huge fan of like super hard croutons. I like crispy croutons, if that makes sense. So it's like They've got a little bit of a slight crunch to them, but it's not so much that I'm like worried I'm gonna crack a tooth on them or something like that. So really, the hard part of making the croutons is done with the bread. At this point, we're just gonna toss them in some of my totally Greek olive oil and a little bit of fresh garlic and Parmesan. And then we'll toast those off for about 10 or 15 minutes and let them cool down. So those will be done before like the biscuits or the broccoli even go into the oven. Mrs. Way, so it should be home relatively soon, provided that she didn't get caught up at work with somebody deciding that right then and there was the most important thing in the world to talk to her as she was trying to head out. That's actually a much more common occurrence than one would suspect, but them's the breaks. Alright. So I'm only going to do 4 of these in addition to those 2 because we're going to have a lot of other vegetation and other stuff. So the basic plan for the chicken pot is going to be that saute up the chicken and the vegetation, which I'm putting like onion, celery, mushrooms, and then I've got a bag of kind of frozen mixed veg, like carrots and corn, green beans, kind of the stuff that you would expect on, you know, in a chicken pot pie. Do all of that together, and then we're going to bind it with a sauce that almost a bechamel, but not quite a bechamel, just because it's not pure milk that's being used in it. It's going to be a combo of chicken broth and heavy cream, and then that will kind of be the sauce that binds it all together. But I don't want to have so much sauce in there that it's just like a soup base. That's just not what I'm aiming for. It's really just going to be enough to kind of bring it all together and taste really good in the process. And then we'll have the biscuits. So in theory, it'll be served up kind of like biscuits and gravy, if that makes sense. Instead of like a milk-based sausage gravy, it'll be kind of a milk-ish based chicken and vegetable sauce that'll go over the top. And yeah, should be pretty good. And then we'll have that broccoli kind of off to the side. It's a relatively vegetable heavy meal, which I'm okay with, especially when there's more people coming to dinner than anticipated. A little pet peeve of mine, but not much I can do about it. It's like you invite someone over to dinner. Okay, cool. Everything's fine. Everything is expected. Oh, hey, by the way, we're bringing, you know, double the amount of people. Yeah. Not even my friends. Oh well. I love Mrs. Way, so this is what I do this. Alright. Taking apart chicken strings. Running the knife down that little fat line that's on the underside of the thigh, since that's kind of your indicator point. Running the knife underneath, and hey, look at that. Spirit collected bone, and you got a bonus. That was that. Sometimes, though, you got to do the math and kind of figure out, okay, well, yeah, sure, it's cheaper per pound, but now I'm ending up with the skin and fat and bones that I'm not necessarily putting into what I'm making. However, like I said, I mean, I'm going to be using the skin and the fat here at first to kind of render out. So I've got that chicken fat in the pan to saute everything. And I can hang on the bones and make stock with it. This actually brings up a really interesting point. So, for my birthday, there was a cookbook that I had on my list by a gentleman named Jose Andres. The gentleman was from Spain, and he worked at the famous El Bulli restaurant there, which is famous for the molecular gastronomy, basically inventing it and doing a lot of research in terms of just the field of molecular gastronomy, which I understand, you know, most people will be like, I don't know what that means, and you don't really need to know. It's not really necessary to the story, but it's just sort of like these are credentials. Anyway, he's lived in the D.C., Maryland area for a number of years, and he's had a couple of cooking shows. But I'm a fan of his. I like his style. I like how he kind of approaches things. And for my birthday, I asked for one of his books, and it was all about vegetables. Because, you know, having had opportunities to cook for vegetarians within the last year, it got me thinking a little bit more about that. Just, okay, well, how can I kind of up my vegetable and just, you know, overall think about things a little bit differently. And his book, this is what it says: squirt bottle. Can the skin fat be used for anything? Pollo chicharrones. Yes, they can. In my case, I'm going to be rendering them out, like I said, for the chicken pot. However, yeah, if you wanted to like scrape the skin and bake it in the oven with like a little bit of salt, or even fry them, yeah, you can easily make a chicken chicharron that way. I'm a big fan of them. But in his book, one of the things he talks about is food waste, for instance, and how in the U.S., I mean, a lot of the amount of food waste in this country is pretty high. And what he was saying and approaching it from was not only from, say, like a restaurateur's point of view of, because you paid for all this is now money that you might throw away. He was saying it's the same thing with vegetables. By hanging on to like the little scraps and the bits that you wouldn't necessarily use, what he'll do is, instead of like throwing them in a compost bin, he'll save like potato peelings, you know, carrot peelings, offcuts of things, and he'll hang on to all that to make a vegetable broth, and then use that vegetable broth for any number of things. And it got me thinking. I said "and" again. It got me thinking about it. Like, I need to say "and," but I don't want to say "and," but I gotta say "and." And it's making me consider, I need to do an experiment, really, is what I need to do. I need to experiment on his words and like hang on to literally all of the like vegetable peelings and offcuts, etc. Effectively freeze them in the process, wash them thoroughly before that, so then when enough of them are put together, I can throw together a vegetable stock pretty easily and quick. Because honestly, a vegetable stock doesn't take all that long. Maybe an hour at most. And then at that point, the vegetable matter can actually be put into a compost. So I was thinking that would be a good idea, just to kind of see how that goes. So then that way I'm not throwing away anywhere near as much. Because unfortunately, that's, you know, it happens that there's a bit of there's just food waste. That's just kind of how it goes. Check out an app called Too Good to Go. You can buy bags of day-old food, or food that would have been chucked really cheap. Yeah. Yeah, there's stuff like that, and trying to remember. There was something else that was kind of in that same vein, but I can't quite remember it at this point. I'll probably make these chicken thighs like tomorrow as part of dinner, depending on how many leftovers there are. But okay. That's closed up. That's in there. This is done. That can go in the trash. That I'm going to put off to the side. In the meantime, I'm going to go throw this into the pot on the stove and turn it on low. Boop. Hi, dogs. Render out. All right. Excuse me, Jane. Thank you. And while I give this board a quick cleaning and wash my hand, let's run the intro again. Why? Because it's brand new for most fall. Warning. The following video presentation contains scenes of extreme deliciousness. Failure to either eat first or bring a snack to consume during the presentation could result in wanting to lick the screen or in some way act the fool. Ain't nobody want that. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, boys and ghouls. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK.
And we're back. Okay. So since I want to get these into the oven, the croutons at least, before kind of anything else goes in there, so they have a chance to kind of cool down a little bit, figured let's get these going, and then we can get to work on kind of everything else. Thankfully, there isn't a whole ton of prep that I necessarily need to do, but this will go relatively quickly. So I got some parm, I got some salt, I got my totally Greek olive oil, and got a couple of cloves of garlic that will grate into there, and then put them on this sheet and into the oven for about 10-15 minutes is kind of what I'm thinking. Check out, okay. Catch the rest on playing. I need to go to bed, hardly go to sleep. Oh, Scott Connor, sorry to hear that, man. As somebody who has difficulty sleeping too, I completely understand. You have yourself a good night, and yeah, take care, buddy. Not really measuring anything, I'm just... This was half of an Italian loaf, I think, is what I picked up. They're kind of nice and light, which is really kind of what I wanted. A little bit of salt. Hit it with garlic. I thought they were full. Oh, guess I'll only grab 2. And last one. The only problem with this microplane grater is that it tends to flex from side to side, and stuff just kind of woo. Toss. Oh, I think Mrs. Wisdom's home. Hey! How are you doing? Alright. Okay. Just
How's everybody doing?
okay.
Oh, hi, puppy. Yes. Yes. Oh, you playing the where's Pika? There's...
Alright.
Hi.
I think I've run the intro a total of like 3 times now.
Because it's amazing.
Because it is amazing.
Just like you.
Oh, thanks.
How's it going? Smells amazing.
So far, so good.
I don't want to touch anything.
Thank you.
I have dog germs. How's everybody doing? I see Scott and Lumpy. Oh, and I'm on my way, so.
Yep. Nick Miller was here earlier.
Very cool. Come on.
The Punisher is on his way to bed. Alright. Okay, let's see. Okay. So that's rendering and smelling like chicken, so huzzah. And I'm gonna hang on to this bowl because we're gonna need to be able to cut vegetation into it. No need for a full wash. Alright, so these are gonna go into the oven now for about... I'm gonna put them in for 10 minutes and then check. Hey, Scott 2574. Excuse me, Jane. Alright. That is ready to go. Let's bring out the rest. So this is the stuff that I got to get prepped for the chicken pot. And then I've just got, like I said, my bag of mixed vegetables, which is going to work out just perfectly for what I need here. And, all right, knife. There we go. Amazingly, and this is kind of weird, white onions were on sale. Well, sorry, let me rephrase that. It's not that they were on sale, it was just that the price of white onions was the same as yellow onions, which is strange up in my neck of the woods, because usually white onions tend to be pricier than yellow onions. And red onions are still at like $1.68 a pound, which is really odd. Not certain why they're so pricey right now, but they'd be expensive. So I'm kind of feeling this whole onion. I don't really have a recipe for this, I'm just kind of going off what feels good. So let's... Alright. Let's get this half cut up first and then kind of see what... bench scrapers that I go through like crazy. Yeah, I'm kind of taking a full onion. Okay. Once more with feeling. Onions probably would have made really good onion rings. I'm only now just starting to feel the effects of the salt. That is kind of an interesting thing. You cut onions and you start frying, and it's because of the sulfur that was in the soil where the onions were grown. So really what's happening is like this sulfur gas is being released from the onions, and as it hits your eyes, it is reacting with the water and actually turning into a mild form of sulfuric acid, which is why it burns. As for the onions themselves, I mean, we know about these, you know, sweet onions and things. And the only reason why they're actually sweet is because the ground that they were grown in has a freakishly low level of sulfur in it. So, like for instance, like the Walla Walla onions. Either the I remapped my Stream Deck at the same time, so and I changed a couple of the buttons around, so I was like, oh, okay, wait, I'm just hitting the wrong one. But yeah, places like Walla Walla, Vidalia, Georgia, basically wherever like sweet onions are grown, the entire reason why they're sweet is because the ground has so little sulfur in it. So, other than that, it's just a normal onion, or usually the yellow onion. So I'm just chopping up some celery to go in there. And I was thinking, I'm like, okay, what just happened? Something either connected or disconnected. That was weird. I completely forgot what I was talking. Talking about onions. Oh, putting celery. Okay. Took me a second to realize where I was. I was gonna chop up and throw some carrots in at the same time, but because there's carrots in that bag of frozen veg, that's why I'm not throwing any in initially. Okay. Celery, done. There we go. Alright. I'm just gonna take these stems off. Alright, let's get this chopped. Bueno. This is cruising. Let's check that skin real quick. It's not 100% cooked, but I'm okay with that. I am gonna, however, hang on to it and completely render it out a little bit later. Rendered chicken first. Check. And now the chicken goes in. Turn the heat up to compensate because that was a little cold and it's kind of sucking the heat out of the pan. What are you? G-Money! G-Money in the house. Hey! Welcome, welcome, G-Money, Raptor Man, Saucy, all the Raiders. Welcome, welcome. And since all the Raiders, or at least most of the Raiders, y'all were hanging out with G-Money, and now that G-Money is actually here, I'm gonna run the new intro again, so everybody gets to see it. Hey, Stashy 666. Oh, croutons are ready. Yes, they are. isn't it? Oh, they were just talking about it. Nice. Warning. The following video presentation contains scenes of extreme deliciousness. Failure to either eat first or bring a snack to consume during the presentation could result in wanting to lick the screen or in some way act the fool.
Version with the warning?
Ain't nobody want that. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, boys and ghouls. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK.
And we're back! Thanks everybody. Yeah, it's something that I've kind of had in my head for a while because that amazing music that Mr. Kingsley wrote for me. Lumpy, if you would be so kind as to give Mr. Kingsley a shout out for me. But it deserved an intro of some form, and I mean, for a while, and still, I would love to do it if possible. It was kind of a pop punk sort of video to go with it. Okay, go take care, G-Money. But it was like, I need a solid intro to go with this. Let's go back over there since I'm going to stove. It needed a good intro. And so while I was not feeling so hot, I decided to comb through all the past streams and everything and pull out clips to use for this. And I think it came out really nicely. Hey, Windier, what's going on, man? Yeah, so I now got a video which I can keep updated with things like new things that are done. Speaking of things that are done, croutons, 10 minutes. Perfect. That's what I wanted. So, but yeah, like as things are done, I can actually update it pretty easily because I kept everything. I had to teach myself how to use the editing program in order to make it happen, but that's okay because it's kind of how everything has been with streaming. Is I had to teach myself a new multiple programs, and I'm still learning stuff, still figuring things out, and that is okay because I like the challenge and it's fun. So I'm actually just gonna go throw all this garlic in with the chicken right now. Give me a ding. Okay. So that vegetation is done being cut up. Now I can get the broccoli done, which, at least according to my timeline, I'm supposed to be getting into the oven in like 5 minutes. Excuse me, Jane. So it makes me glad that I had this ready off to the side. And I already washed my broccoli. That's there. Because the leaves are good. I like the leaves. I like the stems. I like broccoli, period. So we are gonna roast it. Okay. So ends are trimmed. That's good to go. Most of the time depending on how the broccoli itself is formed, like this one, the individual stems tend to be on the longer side. Actually, I think all of them. Yeah. I'll usually cut them if the stems are shorter, specifically. Just so then that way, it's a little bit easier to work with. But, those are good to go. Stems get cut into bite-sized pieces, and they go on. The bigger bits of broccoli get cut in half, or maybe quarters. They go on the tray. Those ones. Okay, that's one. So guests will be here in an hour. I've got to get the biscuits in the oven in the next 20 minutes, which means we got to get moving. Okay. Once this stuff is in the oven, everything else is going to go pretty easy. Because really, I just gotta wash and clean the romaine. Croutons are done. Gotta make the dressing, which will take all of a couple of minutes, which I can do like at the very end. So yeah, good times. I normally prefer to cook when I don't have a major like time crunch on me, and I'm not staring down the barrel of the gun. That's just me. That's because we do.
We do live here.
It's true. Full tray of broccoli. That's good. All right, broccoli chopped. hit it with just a little bit of grapeseed oil. Alright, hit it with a little salt and pepper and then into the oven.
Good. I'll take care of it later. The dog's here with me.
The dishwasher is empty, so. Alright, broccoli in the oven. Stir in the chicken. Butter will be melted in order to brush onto the top of the biscuits. Vegetation in. Alright. Down. Okay. Quick wipe down, and then let's go retrieve the biscuits. I did a double batch. Oh, we'll see as soon as I get to them and I get to cut them. Ah, there it is. Pizza cutter. That's what I'm going to use to cut them biscuits. G-Money will be right over to fill my dishwasher. Shoot, man. That is a... I would pay that price.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. Challenge accepted. He can come fill my dishwasher anytime. I'm more than happy to feed him. I figured one of these times I should probably figure out how to make that that chicken and rice bowl that he's always getting. Which was why I was asking for him to kind of describe it today during his stream. So then that way I can kind of like figure out what it was. See, now the question is like, is it brown rice? Is it a mixed rice? Because if it's a Korean place, they'll do mixed rice with like a mixed grain that has like barley and like some other stuff in there, which is really good and I can totally do. Chicken bulgogi. I'm curious if it's kind of a spicy bulgogi, sort of like most of the chicken bulgogi that I see, at least if it's marinated, it's got some form of a gochugaru red paste on it. If not, it might be marinated like normal bulgogi, like beef bulgogi, which is going to be a soy based. So I need to... Okay, yeah, send me a link, Lumpy, because I'd like to see a picture of it. The fried Brussels sprouts and kale shouldn't be that big of an issue. But it'll be really interesting to kind of see what it looks like and making that happen. So, okay. It is biscuit cutting time. So I'm going to run out and grab them. And in the meantime...
Hello, boys and ghouls. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK. it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK.
Okay, we're going back. And we're back. There's our biscuit dough that has been chilling. And so all yeah, check it. It's big. So I was doing them on this tray. So we're gonna cut off the edges because, like I was talking about earlier, the edges act like the binding of a book, and we want the edges to rise up. But you can see just from the dough, kind of like all those little layers. Now, I'm not completely throwing these away.
Croutons are fantastic.
Thank you.
You're telling your best.
Thank you. Alright. Okay. Probably should have floured this first, but oh well. Alright, let's see. Oh, see ya, Saucy. Have a good one, man. Thanks for coming. Alright, let's do that. Do that. Do that. 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 Alright, so they're not completely even, but whatever. These are going to be honking biscuits. Nice space, so then that way we got plenty of room to breathe. Nice. And we've got a tray of biscuits. Those ends, what I should do is kind of roll them. And what I should do the cut side. And that way we got kind of like these little rosettes. Although this is on a big tray, and I don't think there's enough room in the oven at the moment to accommodate a small tray. I think I will put these on a smaller tray and then just put them back in the fridge. And I just realized you cannot see what I just did. Anyway, so I coiled those up into little rosettes. Like I was just kind of mumbling to myself, the plan is I'll put them on a small tray, put them back in the fridge, and then later on, I'll bake those off. They won't be anywhere near as tall and fluffy as these, but they'll still taste good. All right. All right. Let's give this a stir. It's smelling good. Alright, let's hit it with a bit of pixie dust. I'm not adding any salt yet, just because there's gonna be some salt in the chicken broth. Although for this volume, I should probably just add salt anyways.
Don't need no man. I can do for myself.
Good job, Shira. Alright, let's brush some butter on these.
How many did we get?
12, but they're going to be hung. Oh, they're hunking. Perfect for
One
splitting.
per person.
Well, I was going to say perfect for splitting open and putting the chicken pot on top of it. So then that way it's kind of like biscuits and gravy.
I get the extra.
Yes. And I will allow you fight. I'm going to actually sprinkle a touch of salt on the top of these, just because I like a little bit of salt on top. I'm not doing the kombu salt that I normally use. This is a really flaky kosher salt that I have. Alright. Excuse me. There we go. Let's set that for 12 minutes. Because then at the 12-minute mark, we're going to rotate the biscuits. So then that way they're nice and evenly browned. Okay. And I've got this small tray here, so that'll work nicely.
Where's my other tablecloths are finished?
Okay.
That's okay.
It
Safe
makes no...
travels, Lumpy.
Oh, is Lumpy heading home?
Yeah.
Have a safe drive, Lumpy. I don't remember. There we go. Okay. Put those back. Now, I can take a moment to hydrate. Okay. Woo! So far, so good. Really, now the only thing I have to worry about is finishing up the chicken pot, which is coming along nicely. And getting the Caesar salad ready. So huzzah! Now that I think about it, earlier when I had was chopping the garlic, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I got all this garlic. I didn't realize that I need a couple of cloves for the Caesar salad dressing that I'm making, which thankfully is very easy. And this is some wonky garlic, I swear. Hi, Winko. Well, so here's the thing, right? The garlic comes from, yeah, well, what is it? Christopher Ranch, I think it is. Whatever the big famous California producer is. But the garlic was clearly older because it was all sprouting. And yeah, like this. It's not that it's bad, it just means that it's older and it's, you know, started to sprout. Like it's ready to be broken up and planted and turned into new heads of garlic. But it's like, yeah, actually that would be kind of nice. To be honest, like I would love to like just have a whole bunch of garlic. What I really need to do is go get another 5-pound bag. Okay. Garlic. Peel. Now I need red wine vinegar. I need this. Lemon. I need that. This. This is looking excellent. Alright, so Worcestershire sauce, pardon me, do you have any grape and and my totally Greek olive oil, garlic, that, salt and pepper is the only other things. And that is everything that we're going to need for a basic Caesar salad dressing. I am going to cheat because, quite frankly, why not? And use an immersion blender. Because it's a power tool, and
You're a dude.
I am a dude. Last time I checked, at least.
Yes, you're a dude. I have seen his dudeness.
You've seen my dudeness?
Yeah.
So, alright. Got my container. Let's knock out a Caesar salad dressing real quick. Just want to break the garlic down a little bit because as great as immersion blenders are, they're not a replacement for big blenders. And it's one of those things that you definitely want to break down anything that you're putting in there with the immersion blender first, just because if it's too big, it just won't be able to work with it. Alright, let's hit it with a pinch of salt. Put the pepper in there. Hit it with a little bit of the Dijon. A little bit of the white man's fish sauce. Go. A little red wine vinegar. Cap them off. Okay. Lemon juice. this off so it doesn't leak. Okay. Let's see how we're doing. Okay. Time to add the totally Greek olive. Since we're aiming for an emulsion, most of the time, and just about every set of instructions ever tells you to, slowly drizzle in the olive oil to form that emulsion. But because we're sitting here rocking an immersion blender, the immersion blender is going to do all the heavy lifting for us. So I'm going to turn this down. Pretty good. I think it needs a bit more salt. And I'm going to want to hit it with a touch more vinegar. Okay. I want a little bit more of the fish sauce. Okay. Okay. That is pretty good. However, the true test will be once I've got some clean romaine. We'll dunk it in there and give it a taste. Because honestly, I mean, you can taste your vinaigrettes right as you make them and kind of balance them that way, but you won't really know how it works until you get it onto some greens. Once you get it onto the greens, then it's like, okay, how does the flavor of the greens work with everything else? 44 seconds on the clock for the biscuits. Alright, let's get that lit. Change that camera. Broccoli is looking good. Here's our biscuits. They're rising nicely. Alright, 13 minutes on the clock for those. And in theory, they should be done. However, if not, we can put them in for a little bit longer in order to brown up. They're still looking pretty brown. Meantime, just kind of scraping up the fond off the bottom of this. All that brown really goodness doesn't deserve to be stuck at the bottom, but trying to be in the middle. That's what let's go ahead and this vegetation. There we go. Thankfully, these aren't frozen. I've had them out for, well, since a little bit before the stream started. I'm trying to thaw, so really, I just want to warm them through. Turn the heat down and slap that. That should be good to go. Meantime, I will move it to the side. That's on the side, that's good to go. Saucier is ready to go for when we make the sauce that will go with that. But first, okay, it's romaine time. So let's see. Romaine hearts, blah blah blah. Wash before using. Okay, that's really what I wanted. So normally I wouldn't do this except for when I've done doing anything that I need to do with the cutting board. I don't have any more vegetation that needs cutting. This is literally the last thing that I need to do with it. So because of that, what I'm going to do, and this is just something that makes life a little bit easier, is instead of washing the romaine first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it first, then wash it. Because it's significantly less of a pain to do it that way. And I think I'm going to have to do all of these hearts, given the fact that there's, what, going to be 8 of us total? I think. And then usually what I end up doing is, like, I'll fill this whole thing with water and just kind of let them sit in there for a little bit. Oh, that's weird. Huh. Okay, so that's still going. That appears to still be going. But, oh, that's weird that the feed froze. That's very strange, because it's still showing on the phone that it's fine, but for whatever reason, that view decided to stop. Huh. I wonder why. Anyways, I'm just chopping up lettuce right now so I can get them into the salad spinner. So I've got a salad spinner full of romaine at the moment. Big question is whether or not I need to do the third one, or if I'm okay with just the 2.
How much more than enough? Most people don't eat salad.
Yeah, that's true. Alright.
But basically I'll save it with my chicken and have it cooked.
True. Well, there's also another head of romaine, so we can make more. And I mean, I'm not going to use all of the croutons, you know?
You know?
Yep. Time are we at? 55. 7 minutes on the clock for the biscuits. so I can get rid of this. Alright, Raptor Man, thanks for being here, dude. Have a good drive home. Take care. And I will see you around, man. Let's get... Let's get the biggest bowl down. All right. Water was definitely got a brown tinge to it.
Our water?
No. The water that had the lettuce in it after the fact.
Sorry.
No. The water coming out of our tap is fine.
Okay.
Okay. That's quite a bit of water came off that. So let's grab a piece. Let's try it with a bit of that dressing. Okay, that's good. It's got a nice little twang to it. It's still pretty creamy. Yeah, with the romaine dressed properly, it'll be perfect. Hey, love you something. Very good. I do not know why that camera decided, or the feed decided to freeze. That's really odd. No, the cable didn't come loose. Yeah, it would have gone dark. The hub is lit up. No. The cam link is still doing fine, and it's still showing live video on the back of the phone itself, but for some reason, something between the phone and the thing decided to freeze up, so it's kind of where we're at. But now I got my big old bowl of romaine here, and let's add some of them croutons. It is a big old bowl, but that should be sufficient croutons for this, and so then that way we've got some left over, so Mrs. Hueso can take it to work for lunch. And since we're doing this proper style, instead of a fine shred, I'm going to be using a vegetable peeler on this. You know what? Behind the scenes action. There we go. Now you can actually kind of see what's going on. We're improvising. All right, let's shave some cheese on there. Oh, something for Jane. Where's the little girl? Treats for the doggos. One for Jane. One for Bear. Alright. Shaving the cheese. This is actually kind of soft since it's been out for over an hour now. But this is what we wanted. Some big old shreds, or shavings, because it just looks good like that. And I'll dress it basically right before serving it. Yeah. Oh, treat for Jane. Hey, Dad, this cheese smells like my butt. Why does your butt smell like cheese, dude? Cheese for the chef. Here we go. Whoop. Ah. Almost. This is a pretty luxurious Caesars. Okay. Oh, biscuit timer. Let's see what's... Okay. These aren't quite brown enough. This is what they look like. They look big and beautiful, but you need to get that heat up. Broccoli is looking pretty good, so I'm gonna Alright, let's put these in about another 3 minutes or so. And we will check them yet again. Alright. There we go. Big old Caesar salad. That is done. So we can put that off to the side. We can put all of this away now. Including my totally green olive. That is what it's saying. Alright, so we are almost to the point where we can start working on the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
So in the sauce is going to be heavy cream, chicken broth. It's going to be a roux-based thickener. Little salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper here. Salt and pepper here.
Oops. There we go. Alright. So that's now closing.
With dinner.
I'm going to take this out of here since it is no longer doing what it's supposed to.
Hello?
What's up?
For dinner, do just forks? Should I do spoons and knives?
I would do forks and knives at the very least.
Sharp or...
Not necessarily.
Okay.
That should be fine.
Oven's ready!
Alright. Yeah, I was turning up the heat just a little bit. But let me... What on earth are all... Where are all the cork trivets?
There's one in here. I don't know. Where did you put them?
I'm wondering if there's one. I thought I brought the one that was at my desk.
Okay.
There's our trade broccoli. So that's there. Okay, that's 3 minutes. Let's check them biscuits. Smell good, but just not quite enough. Okay. True.
Bars out.
Alright. No. This. Time to assemble the roux.
Go through the day.
Will I though? Okay. AP flour. Need 2/3 of a cup, which this measuring set actually has 2/3 of a cup.
That's that was an accidental birthday gift to me. It was on your wish list, but there was some confusion. And I was like, oh, yay, I got measuring cups. But because of that 2/3 cup, oh my gosh. I was like, in my opinion, this is like every perfect wedding present. They're not cheap though.
Gasket is. The container's kind of old, but it works.
Yeah.
Alright, let's head back to the stove. Excuse me, dogs.
I'm gonna get plates and stuff.
Sounds good. Oh, measuring cup. And don't need 4 cups of hot water so I can make chicken broth with it.
And yes, we have plenty of dishes.
Yes, we have plenty of dishes. The answer is lots.
I count 18 plates.
Okay.
19, 20 if you count these small ones.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm getting up.
Thank you. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Those are beautiful.
I have to sample and make sure.
Probably. Okay. Now that that's done, alright. We need oh. Huh. So usually when you make a roux, it's 1 part butter to 1 part flour, and I was going to do about 2/3 cup of flour. 2/3 cup of butter is a full stick. And 3 tablespoons. The only reason why I didn't use the butter from earlier is because there was a little bit of flour on it from when made biscuits. And I put it in the flour to coat it before grating, so then that way there's something. This is a 3/4 sauce. Should be plenty of it. I don't anticipate having to use all of this, but I want to make sure that I have enough. Because really, I just want enough of the sauce in order to kind of bring the chicken pot together. Yeah. Okay, that is almost melted. Yeah, we will. Cook that first to get rid of the raw taste. Like with the pasticcio, when I made the bechamel for that, I'm okay if we get a little bit of color on this. Because even though it forgoes thickening power, because the more you toast it, the less thickening power the flour will have. You make up for it in flavor. So I mean, this is still quite long. A bit more time for adding the hot water and throwing the chicken in, season. And then at the end, we'll stir it with heavy cream. (6:14), 15 minutes till guests arrive. Part of me is tempted to throw the broccoli back in the oven just to keep it warm. Actually, babe, are you around? Would you come here? If you would put on the mitts, grab the tray of broccoli and just put them in the oven. The oven's off, but it's still warm.
Carryover cookie. Look at these biscuits! Open the oven?
Yep. You gotta turn it. This is one of the big trays.
Oh. There's no one here to stop me.
Alright.
Need to get better. Okay, so what do you guys like on your biscuit? Sometimes I like jam, sometimes I like honey. What do you guys like? I'll take this one. Ooh, they're still warm.
I would hope so. They just came out of the oven.
You seriously look like your best biscuits ever. Those last biscuits you made, were a little like too flaky. Let's get some honey. Last year we took our international student on a road trip because America needs a. You gotta, if you're in America, you gotta be on a road trip. And we went to the Redwoods. But while there, I got Marionberry honey jam, which you can't see because. But oh, here you go. Here you go. Marionberry honey. It's the little things, right? Oh my gosh, they smell amazing. Mmm. You've done it, baby.
I did it?
Yeah.
Hooray!
Oh my gosh. Years ago, we had dinner at a restaurant, and his classmate was there and made these incredible biscuits. I would say these are as good as those.
Those biscuits have haunted me.
Yeah, David came. Sorry. Decay came home, and for 17 days he made biscuits. And every day was a new thing.
Turn the heat off on this and we'll stir it.
These are triumphant lumpy pickle. Uh-oh. I told you I was still on the floor.
Already foul?
Yeah. In the last stream, I said I dropped stuff on the floor.
Alright, that sauce is done.
Let's see if I can find. No.
Would you hand me the left-handed mitt right here?
Left-handed mitt.
Just the left one. The left one.
The other left one.
Thank you.
The other left
The
one.
other left one.
Sorry, the jam's buried in the fridge, and with all that's going on, I'm not going to pull it out. Man, these are amazing. We need to tell people one. I don't want to share. Should have canceled dinner. Here, you want a bite?
Yes.
This is the bottom half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I seriously think you did it.
That's good.
Yeah, and then they're like really crunchy. But soft and flaky too.
My guess is because I brushed on a ton of butter. So
No.
much so that they were kind of sitting in butter.
Yeah, you can see the butter. Okay. This is not an everyday food, it's a sometimes food. But my cholesterol is fantastic, so I can have it with lots of butter. Okay, I gotta walk away. Otherwise, I'm gonna eat another one.
See, now I want to crack one of those biscuits open and pour over the chicken pot here.
Well, can we get you a plate?
Yes.
Would you prefer like a pasta plate? Shrimp plate?
No, I don't want a huge plate.
So one of these pastas will look in these.
Probably.
Okay, I will break it open. Do you want me to spread butter on it?
No, just split it in half.
Do you care size? Small, medium, large?
Small.
Small.
Yeah. And in fact, part of me is thinking just put half of it on there.
Top or bottom half?
Don't care.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, they don't really need too much butter.
Now, because there's a heck of a lot in it.
You know what we should do is cut them all in half. That way, like filling up their plate and then not eating it.
That really upsets
And then
me.
I watched them like scrape it into the trash. These biscuits should not be thrown away.
Somebody did something. What just happened? Hey, Painty Pants resubscribed. Thanks, Painty Pants. How you doing? How is the show? Hang on. Let me turn the camera. Boop. There we go. I understand you went to, you went to the Beast in Black Striker 7 Kingdoms. Yeah, it would have been fun. It would have been a blast. Just having kind of everybody there would have been fantastic. Did you, by any chance, just kind of happen to show up? Have you been here for a while, Penny? Just out of curiosity, because if you just got here, I'm going to have to run my new intro. You just popped in? Okay, stick around for 2 minutes, all right? Because we got a brand new intro. Yeah, just dig it. Here we go. Warning. The following video presentation contains scenes of extreme deliciousness. Failure to either eat first or bring a snack to consume during the presentation could result in wanting to lick the screen or in some way act the fool. Ain't nobody want that. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, boys and ghouls. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? DK's making a snack today. Shove it right into your mouth. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be? Is he making it for me? DK's making a snack today. It's time for tactical snacking with DK.
Okay. Looks like people have just decided to start showing up, but yeah. Hey, Happy Betty, welcome, welcome. Yeah, new intro. So that's going to be running ahead of all the streams now. So good times. So let's, our little beauty shot here. Here's our chicken pot on top of half of the biscuits that we made. And our oven roasted broccoli. Broccoli is excellent. Chicken pot with a biscuit. Oh, the microphone was still on? Thanks for the heads up, buddy. So there's that. Our little Caesar salad with those croutons that I made. I just lost one. Perfect, nice and light, super crunchy. Well, crispy really. They're not like, oh my gosh, it's super crunchy, but perfect. So, all right, since folks are here, I'm going to say thank you kindly to everybody. Thank you so much, Painty, for the resub. Thank you, G Money, for the raid. Thanks to everybody that stuck around. Thanks to all the lurkers for being here. Oh, okay. Good to know that I need to mute it during the intro. Hi, folks. So, all right, guys. I'm out. Take care. Have a wonderful night. Love you guys. And we'll see you Saturday.
Hello, boys and ghouls. DK's making a snack today. What's it gonna be?